What is going on, everyone? It is Foul Play, and we are back again here for another Bogle League. Before I get into my deck, I'm just going to take you through a little something that I did. So I took a metagame analysis on MTG Goldfish, and I basically looked at all the sideboard cards that would be good against these decks. So it has actually changed a decent amount since I did the list up. But just to give me an idea of numbers of sideboard cards I might be wanting depending on what I'm versing, and what I need to bring in. It looks like Rakdos midrange has made a little bit of a resurgence here. Now what's this? This is one with Croxer, Magmatic Channeler, Packrat, really low. Liliana, Chandra. Alright, so it's just sort of like a red-black Jund deck with some things like Blood Moon. Alright, cool. Alright, so what I did this like 4 days before I'm recording this video, by the way. So like I said, the data's a little bit out of date. I might have to go back and do it again, or before a big event or something, I'll do it again, something along those lines. So here you see a list of sideboard cards. So I've sort of got Lurrus up there, even though a lot of the time you're not bringing Lurrus in at all. Just in there as a reminder that that's a sideboardable card. I've got the same thing for things like Hushbringer's Soulbot Guide Lantern, Grafdigger's Cage. Alright, so I took the prevalence of like how often these decks got played. So here you see Omnath Control. Omnath Control at the point where I made this video is being played as 6.6% of the metagame. Sideboard cards, I think, do something against Omnath Control, a Surgical Extraction, sort of Gadok, but it's not great, and Path to Exile. Same with Mardu Stoneblade, which was at 5%, and so on and so on. And I did this for actually 60 different decks. So the number I entered in is only ever 1, and that's just to give you an idea of when you're bringing in some number of copies of the card, right? Obviously, a lot of these times I might want 4 of it, but like then I'd just be putting 4 on everything, and it's just a little bit tedious at that point. So I did up a formula, and essentially what it does is it goes Leyline of Sanctity for Omnath Control times by this equals 0, does nothing, gets all the way down to Surgical Extraction, times by 1, so you get 6.6 towards the tally. All this information goes all the way over to the end. I entered like over 60 decks here. Gets entered right the way to the end. We've got a total here. That's a total of the number of times like 1 got added in. So then I times that by the number in this square here, and each time you go down, that's why I've got it reoccurring. Each time you go down a row from Leyline to Lurrus, etc., you could go down one of these. And yeah, you can see after timesing it by the metagame analysis, Leyline, you sort of bring in 26.9 times, and that's sort of like reasonable, but it's not the top end. You see Graveyard Hate here is actually quite high. You get like a combined value of like, what, 33, 34 there. That's pretty high amount. Torpor at 21, Suppression Field at like 25, Gadok Teague at around 20. Force of Vigor really high at 43, Heroic Intervention at just below 20, so still pretty good, but like not entirely necessary. And then Path to Exile, the highest number, like by far, which is 54.4. This doesn't mean like you want 4 of Paths necessarily, or 4 of Leylines, etc. Because sometimes, like against Stoneforge Mystic decks, you're only going to be bringing in like 2 Force of Vigors anymore, and you're probably overboarding in that respect. So yeah, I did all of that and came up with this little list here. Now, as you can see, I have actually gone down to 3 Leyline of Sanctities in the sideboard. I brought Suppression Field back because it looks like it's actually good against quite a large chunk of the metagame. I've only got 2 Force of Vigors in the sideboard. Reason for that is I'm running Skyclave Apparition in the main deck, which sort of overlaps function with Force of Vigor a little bit. And Skyclave Evaporation is taking that Night of Autumn spot, which I have been doing for main deck Ensnaring Bridge hate. I think it might be okay. I did consider it because CVAC on YouTube commented and recommended that I give it a shot, give it a try. So here I am. I'm doing exactly that. Differences between Skyclave Apparition and Night of Autumn. First and foremost, it can remove creatures like Death Shadow, which is pretty exciting. Secondly, it can remove Planeswalkers, which is pretty good, as in 3 mana Teferi. Bad thing is it doesn't do anything like gaining life wise, which could be pretty bad, and it's a slightly smaller body. Against like a Blood Moon deck though, I think we might be slightly better off, like most games, searching double white than searching green white. Like, let's say we have one of our planes in our hand and a Windswept Heath. Like, we'll go like Greenland, Windswept Heath, search the planes, play the second planes, and then our Blood Moon Hate is online, as opposed to having to search the forest, which turns on Night of Autumn, but turns off Daybreak Coronet, which is pretty bad. Conversely, like, it turns off Rancor and Spider Umbra and things like that. So Heroic Intervention, I've gone down to only 1 copy here. I've gone up to 2 copies of Spider Umbra in the main, plus the 4 Hyena Umbra. So I've got 6 Totem Armor spells main deck, plus the Heroic Intervention in the side. Hopefully it's going to be enough to get the effect that I want against like a Blast Zone deck, while being fairly well balanced. And I've actually gone down to 3 Core Spirit Dancers, down to 2 Griff Spoons, keeping the Sentinel's Eyes at 2, Spider Umbra up, Spirit Mantle as is, etc. But yep, so we've got a bit more jammed in here in the means of removal. We've got 5 removal spells in the main deck, pretty strong. We still got some number of Core Spirit Dancers, but to be honest, I've been finding that I'm sideboarding out Core more and more. I'm not sure she's right for this metagame at the moment. I could be wrong, but I'm just sort of not feeling it right now, right? Yep, so that's going to be it. Let's get into a league here. Alright, so here we are for match number 1. We won the die roll, meaning we're on the play. Our opponent has no companion. I think a Core Spirit Dancer hand is pretty weak with no alternative. If I had 2 Core Spirit Dancers, I'd probably consider it. Yeah, this is just bad as well. Let's go down again. If we're versing like a Prowess deck, all we need is Hexproof Creature, Aura, and Daybreak, and we win. Being on the play as well, that would help. Yeah, sorry for that slightly longer intro. I just wanted to take you all through what I've been doing. Alright, so we've got a keepable hand here, and we're going to be like bare bones right now. I think I ditched the... I got to ditch pretty much everything. Okay. Alright, so we'll play out our Bogle, pass the turn. Hopefully we draw a land and we can play out double Aura attack. If our opponent makes us discard, we'll discard obviously the Rancor, get Sentinel's Eyes down, and then hopefully top deck well. Spy Bluff Canal is this Storm. So play out the Rancor, and I guess the Sentinel's Eyes now. So this could be Kiki combo, this could be Storm, could just be Blue Moon. Either way, top decking something like Ethereal Armor or Daybreak Coronet would be really, really good. Opponent doing instant speed something here. Is this a Snapcaster Mage to chump block? This could be Electro Dominance. Oh man. Alright, so opponents just cast a free Ancestral Visions. Let's just get in there for an attack. I guess we leave Dryad Arbor in hand here. Good thing is if the board gets reset, we do get all our auras back essentially. So that's on such a like hard mulligan. It's really, really rough here. Looks like my opponent might have a second Electro Dominance here. If we like see a restore balance, it's gonna be rough to get there. We might be able to. Another Electro Dominance. Something like Silence, where your opponent can't cast more than one spell a turn, would be really strong here. Alright, so Rhinos are going to do their Rhino thing. Looks like he's going to go for the Crushing Foothills kill here, potentially. I think here overall it's probably worth expending our graveyard resources to put Sentinel's Eyes back on here. We draw Daybreak Coronet, we want, or any First Strike Aura for that matter, we want to be attacking. So we'll just throw this down. It's really bad against Lightning Bolt and Izzet Charm, which are spells that they run. I don't have a choice though. Obviously I'm not just going to attack into an open Rhino. I want to see First Strike Aura. I fail to see that. We're probably just doomed at this point. Our opponent has way too much card advantage over us. We can pay for spell pierce though. Alright. I guess we attack now. Path the token. Hope that resolves. We can tap the Dried Arbor for mana potentially. Force a negation. Alright, cool. I've seen enough this game. If we had like a 7, this would have potentially have been fine, but on a model 4, like, it's just no good. No good. This deck, also, you have to be concerned about Blood Moon, which is pretty frustrating. They run... Oh, what's the enchantment called? Alright, so... yeah, they have the 3 mana enchantment that lets them play 1 instant or sorcery a turn. Which the Force of Vigor interacts with, also interacts with their Blood Moon. Gadok stops them from casting Electro Dominance, so it's a pretty vulnerable creature. Half considering Surgical Extraction. Paths are just bad, so they're getting removed. Skyclave Apparition stays in. So Surgical Extraction, if they do restore balance, they can only do it once, which is pretty nice. We're even winning a game if they resolve it once, though. It's probably unlikely. I think maybe we just remove our Spirit Mantles and go uber hyper aggressive. Yep, so this hand looks really good. We've got double creature, we've got Ethereal Armor, we've got Daybreak. We're going to keep. A lot can go wrong because, you know, if he just has a turn 1 or 2. Restore balance, we're in a lot of trouble, but we'll start it off with Poster Boy and pass the turn. Hopefully we draw like a Rancor or a Sentinel's Eyes to get the clock running. Hopefully an aura that we can return should things go pear-shaped. Pretty unlikely they have Spell Pierce. I'll just run this one out. I guess we want to play around Blood Moon here as well. By holding the Scout in hand. Also, if they restore balance, just having the Scout in hand to reload the board would be really, really good. So no need to get like super tricky here or greedy and play the Daybreak, the Temple Garden in tapped for 2 life. We've got Daybreak anyway. It's very likely that we're just going to have more life than our opponent at the point where it matters, right? So with the Opt, they scry to the bottom as well. Looks like they're going for a Blood Moon here, or As Foretold. Alright, so they've gone for As Foretold. That's not too bad. I think we want to take the opportunity to blow up this As Foretold while we can. It's not optimal value, obviously, if they have Blood Moon. It's going to make things a bit more difficult, but hopefully that's their only way to get stuff out of hand into play. All of that. Alright, so Daybreak Coronet is pretty decent. We'll just go ahead, chuck in the Temple Garden and play that. I'll keep this plane secret for now. Just in case they have Blood Moon, then we sort of beat them pretty hard at this point through the Blood Moon. It's probably not the card to be concerned about, but like I can't really play around much else, so I'm going to play around like what small percentage I can, try and leverage that. If they have a second As Foretold or Electro Dominance into a Restore Balance here, we're just like really dead. Although they have a Rhino now, so we don't actually just lose our creature to Restore Balance, which is nice. Alright, so no attacks from my opponent. Cool beans. Alright. My deck is trolling me here. Let's go ahead and attack. Opponent with the jump block. Alright, we'll get that one out the way. With the Opt, they put a card on top, so they've kept something they want on top of their library. Comes the Electro Dominance by the looks of things. Hopefully no Restore Balance, because we really can't beat that. Ancestral Vision's fine. It's not the best, but at least it's not a Restore Balance, I'll tell you that much. Cycle that Fiery Eyelet. Don't do stuff with your mana, just cycle. Come on. Greater Gargantuans entered exile, so now they can start removing their lands, and then when they do Restore Balance, they're in a really good spot. Alright, so Hyena Umbra here is a pretty decent one, so we'll just play that now. Put our opponent on a 2-turn clock here as well. Looks like they've got some description of counter magic here. They chose not to cast it, so yeah, we'll attack for 8. Alright, opponent's on 8, we go back up to 36 now. And end step, they cycle Fiery Eyelet, so that's pretty good for us. One more attack and we at least get the game, and then it goes to a game 3. So Greater Gargantuan on suspend, getting its time counters reduced ever so slightly. You'd see why this would be a good matchup against like Amulet, because they just sack all their lands to Greater Gargantuan, then they restore balance, and what's Titan going to do without lands? Like, not very much, I'll tell you that much. Alright, so opponent is casting a Crashing Foothills here, so if we draw Grispoon or Spirit Mantle here, we just instantly win. Wait, did they get to do 2 cards there? You may cast up to 1 target instant or sorcery card, or up to 1 target instant and 1 target sorcery card from your graveyard, each with converted mana cost of X or less without paying their mana costs. Alright, so Daybreak can stay in hand. Can I just pull this to the top, please? Please? I want to see the counters, it's so lame. Alright, so we draw Daybreak. That's not the droids we were looking for. Let's just keep on hitting through for a couple of points a turn and hopefully they don't find it. Gargantuan time counters on 8 at the moment. We can actually attack into a Gargantuan as well. We do kill it. We do have the bigger creature here. Bro, my deck hates me. This is ridiculous. Chump Block City. He's got 4 chump blocks out of this Crashing Foothills. Oh, my goodness. Alright, so they remove the creature so I don't gain life and a time counter from Greater Gargantuan. Seems fair. What we don't want to see is our opponent starting to sack their lands, because then we're just like super doomed, right? Hardcast Simian Spirit Guide. Okay. Still looking for some form of evasion here. That'd be really, really nice. I was like considering searching the Dried Arbor in case I drew an aura, so then I could at least go wide with some damage, but then that just prepares me for the blowout, and I don't really want to play into that. And then we just draw the fucking Arbor anyway, and that's just really, really bad for us. You ever seen a Bogle deck flood out this hard? Holy shit, man. I've only drawn 1 aura in 7 draws. It's just absurd. Alright, here comes the Serum Visions. Want to see a couple of bottoms here. At this point, he's probably just going to top any creature that can chump block. I think that's probably a mistake. Because, like, he needs a way to end the game fast before I find my evasive effect or my trample. I'd like this match to go ever so slightly faster. Unfortunately, yeah, all the information I did like 3-4 days ago, it's all out of date. Now I kind of have to go through it again, and it is a pretty timely process, I'll tell you that much. That's trouble. If they start sacking their lands, we know we're in trouble. Looks like they're going to go for an instant speed. Another Daybreak Coronet. Dude, fuck off. Like, I'm sick of this shit. Goodbye all their lands into Restore Balance, and that's going to be game. It's just a shame that we drew so poorly here. Like, it's pretty actually horrible how poorly we've drawn. Because now we're going to lose all our lands, and then we're going to be on the real uphill battle against this Greater Gargantuan. Or are they just chump blocking? Oh man, I wish I had another Force of Vigor drawn here. Okay, well, we're still in this technically. Opponent's got no lands. All they've got to work with is the As Foretold here. And it does lose value the longer the game goes on. Restore Balance sounds about right. I actually get the option. This is a trigger, even though I can't respond to it at all here. Isn't that lovely? Opponent's going to be the one discarding cards from hand. I have no auras to enchant my Dryad Arbor with, and it's dead to a Lightning Bolt, so that's really bad. Maybe I should have held that second Plains in hand. I think I should have. I think playing that was a mistake. So that way, like, even if I top deck a Hyena Umbra, I can't cast it. Or, yeah. Fun times, man. Fun times. No point playing the Dryad Arbor into removal. They can do this during our turn as well. We'll get a free spell. Aura. Show me aura. Well, that's an aura. Hopefully our creature doesn't die. Alright, well, at least the Rancor resolved. That's something. Still need another white mana source to cast Daybreak Coronet, and they're at Blood Moon mana now, which would shut off, now with all our basics in the graveyard, us casting another aura for pretty much the whole game, short of drawing green card plus force. Only got one force left. There's the Blood Moon. They can just like Crushing Foothills jump block here at instant speed as well. Or is this a sorcery? Oh, it's a sorcery, okay. Right on time. Yeah, I think I played this a little bit bad. We got very unlucky with our draws, but I also didn't need to throw away like 2 lands here. That was just stupid. Another Greater Gargantuan in exile now. Alright, it all starts again. Ancestral Visions, draw a full grip. Great. Alright. Guess we just want to draw force, maybe. It's not a force. If we draw force there and upkeep destroys As Foretold and Blood Moon, we're actually not in the worst spot. So we draw Scout. As Foretold with 5 counters on it. Oh god. Simian Spirit Guide mana getting exiled. What's he doing? 3 mana. Electro Dominance, 1 damage to Dryad. Come on, man. Come on. That's just rude. Plus the Serum Visions. Yeah, this is pretty grim. This is like a horrible, horrible matchup for us anyway, though. We probably have like a 20% win rate. I think the hand we kept was fine as well. It just didn't get us there. Like, we haven't drawn a single aura this game other than these 2 Daybreak Coronets, which are pretty rubbish, really. I think we drew the Hyena Umbra, actually, but it took a few turns to draw. Well, drawing to our 1 Force of Vigor to break the lock. And just fast forward the video at this point, guys. Like, scroll your little mouse cursor over the time wheel and look for when I actually have a board state, or if the game's just over. Yeah, this is slow and painful. Can't believe people still play this deck. So stupid. I was having a bit of a chat with him, and he's saying his deck's horribly placed, and all of the Death Shadows and Teferi decks, just getting them real good. Teferi making them play cards at sorcery speed so that they can't As Foretold into something, or Electro Dominance into something, sorry. I think they can still As Foretold at sorcery speed, though. Second Blood Moon, alright. So now we got to hit double Blood Moon. Yeah, this would have been way better if we had basics in hand. I just wish my opponent would take a bit less time during their turns. Because they've obviously got all of the options here. 8 time counters on Greater Gargantuan. End step, he's doing something. I don't know why he's paying mana with a... As Foretold ticked up to 6. At this point, he's going to be like able to hardcast Greater Gargantuan. Looks like he's getting rid of all the lands here. Going for another balance. Or just removing the time counters here. Electro Dominance. Alright, some funky stuff's happening. And maybe Crushing Foothills here. Restore Balance? What's the point, man? You're getting rid of 1 fucking land. I guess I'm discarding my whole hand here, right? Alright, so Daybreak. Oh, choose 2, discard the rest. Okay. I might as well choose Scout Rancor. Rancor being a green aura that we can discard to Force of Vigor if we have no other green cards in hand at that point. I think that Restore Balance was a bit pointless. I could be wrong. Greater Gargantuan on 4 time counters at the moment. Barred my whole hand though. I think also he probably could have emptied his hand a little bit more before pulling the trigger. Maybe he's just trying to avoid the Force Vigor blowout. But like, even if I had Force Vigor, he could have restored balance instant speed at any time because he had restored balance in hand. I think it's just bad what he did. Alright, that is not the enchantment hate we are looking for. Also, no lands on the board. Rip. Yeah, another game we would have got there. This isn't the game. How bitterly disappointing. Alright, I'm just gonna call it there. There's like no way. Drawing to one force and just couldn't find it. Drawing to like an aura which allowed me to push damage through in game 1, couldn't find that. Whatever, bad beats. We'll move on to the next one. Hope you enjoyed the us getting absolutely decimated by a horrible matchup, guys. Let me know down below what you think. If you have any cool tech against it, which makes it a little bit easier to beat. Probably Manatithe is up there, right? If you're new here, be sure to subscribe for daily Bogle content. Ring that bell for more. Thank you all. I'll see you next time.